How are you, Chris?
Hey Dale, I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Good. You made some nice calls. You were bullish everything last time we talked, except the dollar. Do
Yeah.
you do do you believe this, Chris, that if you get the dollar right, you get the rest of the market right?
I think you're. It's hard to get it wrong.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
obviously everything doesn't work. Doesn't move just opposite at the exact same time. But I think if you get the general direction of the dollar right, I think most everything for the most part kind of comes out the other way. Yeah.
Okay. You want to share your screen? What's and instead of me asking what's top of mind, I know you're bullish Bitcoin from lower levels. I don't know, 20 or lower. And
Yeah.
we're having this big break here. Has anything changed for you in Bitcoin?
Uh,
Oh, you want to start with the dollar? Go
oh,
ahead.
we
Go
can, we can
back to
talk to
the dollar.
Bitcoin here real quick. I've got a
Okay.
chart.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin's this thing that I've been talking about since we had that capitulation last June,
Right.
and then we had this FTX nonsense that happened here in November. Um, but using Wyckoff, I mean, this all looks very much like a accumulation in this whole area here. A
Yeah.
lot of people mistakenly just say the very low is the accumulation, but it actually starts back here in June. This is what happened in November would just be what we call a terminal shakeout, and that's the goal there is basically just to get the last of the last holders that are going to sell out, and you do that so that you get this kind of movement coming in that we had in January and again over here in March. And so right now we've been holding up here, above 26 and a half since back here in what is that, March, almost 2 months now. And so this is good. This is something that we want to see. We're getting held up right by the congestion that we had over here back in May of last year. But this kind of pullback that we're looking at here is what we call back up the edge of the creek, which just basically means a pullback towards supply to retest it as support. And the expectation is that we should rally up more than anything else.
Okay.
Now, if it continues down
If we
lower, we
take
can
a,
look at 25.
yeah. Okay. That's what I mean. So if we take out that low, you're looking at, are your support levels, fib levels?
Well, actually, it has more to do with just the structure here,
Okay.
what we're
Yeah.
looking at. So,
All right.
yeah,
So maybe 25 if we take out the low from a few weeks ago.
potentially. But I'll tell you what, man. Everybody has really been looking for that 25 for a while.
Yeah.
So you've been doing this a long time too, and when everybody's looking for it, often we don't get it, right? So, uh,
Or it melts through it.
yeah, exactly. It just does not, get there and stay there or whatever. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So still constructive there. You went to the dollar. You have any downside targets? You've been bearish since the highs, man.
Yeah. And last time we talked, and we had a bit of a bounce there.
Yeah.
Nothing special. Again, we have that weekly pivot here. As I was talking to you last time, that's kind of like my real kind of major resistance area. And we had the first breakup through there back in January, and we pulled down and then bounced back up just slightly bit higher there in March. But again, got rejected, sent back
Yeah.
down to a slightly new lower low.
I see a V at about
Yeah,
99.54. So you think we're about to complete this first wave down?
I think there's a good chance of that. I've got actually two targets here. Initially, it's the 99.54, and then if it continues going, we'll look at 97.68.
Okay.
But yeah, I think we're probably just about to finish it up there. And here's the thing: if we do hit just this initial target and get that reversal off there, excuse me. Let me see here. So this gives us then, when we're doing Elliott wave, it gives us 5 waves down. So that would be,
Yeah.
a wave one or a wave A. But
Yeah.
we usually look for that first pullback, that wave two, to target wave four, the lesser degree.
Right.
And, so that potentially gets us right up here in this low volume node, right around, 105.8, somewhere right there. So I think it's possible we could see that, if it happens to push on through that weekly pivot, just again, getting just, knocked out right at the same.
Because I mean, you have to feel a little uncomfortable being a dollar bear down here because Chris, I don't know about you, but I've never heard or read so much about de-dollarization in my
Yeah, yeah,
entire career. And I mean, and that talk's been going on for decades about losing reserve currency status, da 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 da. But
yep.
guys on the street, I bet people let me ask you, people who aren't in the business, have any of them asked you about what's wrong with the dollar or what should I do about the dollar?
It's funny. Rather than ask questions, I think everybody's just kind of jumping on this whole "it's the end of the dollar" thing. But like you
Yeah,
said, it's the
yeah,
same thing we're getting. Every 10 years or so.
yeah.
There's been this romanticization of the death of the dollar since Bretton Woods, and
It's
you know, it,
Lazarus. It's risen from the dead. I don't know how many times. So
yeah,
anyway, I find it very interesting you have a V there at that level because that's what I've been talking about for, I don't know, about 3 weeks, which will give us about a 112 euro, which I
mhm,
think is a decent sell zone. So
yeah.
really appreciate you having that V up there. It gives me more conviction about trying it should it get there.
Yeah,
So
it's exactly, the kind of thing I'm looking at there. And so, I mean, anything can happen, but right now if we lose this support here, those are the two levels I'm looking at right now.
wouldn't you think that would, whatever has been going up would be, kind of propel risk, and that should 5 hold and start turning up, could be about maybe risk off?
Yeah, and it aligns with a lot of other charts I've got here. It kind of aligns with what I'm looking at with silver, with gold. Oil's already kind of doing this. It looks like it's probably doing this reversal. So yeah, I mean, in general, yeah, exactly.
Okay. So you were also constructive S&P,
Yes.
still so, and you're still in the melt up camp with, even though banks are, they're being bid up today, but I read an article that half of our banks in the US are insolvent.
Yeah, they're insolvent if people run on them, right? I mean, isn't that the way it is? It's not that okay, well, uh, like they're going to go under today with nothing happening. It's you need all those kind of people running on them. You need the high interest rates to stay, so they're paying more on that on those bonds. I don't know, man. When it comes to
I
today,
heard it, it's not only deposits leaving, but it's their books. They
mhm,
were about, there was a lot of malinvestment
yeah,
with ZERP, right? And so they were all pushed out on the risk curve. And
yeah.
so
Go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, we had all those years, coming out of the GFC there, where it's just been the secular bull market running up, and the Fed was just dying to even get 2%. We
Yeah.
went to those mild little short deflationary periods around 2015, and again, I believe it was 2019. So the banks are they're doing what they're doing. They're going to fall into, they're going to be comfortable, and everything's low rates, and they're going to do what they're going to do, and then they get caught when the Fed just does this nastiness that it's done. Starting last summer. So yeah, I mean,
Could I put a question to you that's outside of, like looking at a chart?
yeah.
Don't you think Paul knew that the banks were all, levered up long bonds from Civil War level interest rates?
Oh yeah. A lot of it's real cool. It's real whatever online today to say, oh, Powell's an idiot, and I don't think he's an idiot at all. I don't think the Fed is a bunch
No.
of idiots. They've got very very intelligent people.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing.
Okay. So isn't this intent? So everyone said that they were going to tighten till something broke, right? Well, something broke, right? And he still
Yeah.
went ahead and tightened another quarter. To me, it's starting to look intentional. Could it be that the Fed actually has a vested interest and the big banks have a vested interest in taking this down, so they become the bank after all? Isn't the digital currency have a C at the front of it for central bank digital currency? Why are digital currencies coming from the treasury like our currency has for centuries?
Yeah,
Why isn't it the treasury uh, digital currency? That it's a central bank.
yeah, it's
You ever think about that?
sometimes what I try
Or
not
you
to
just
do.
want to make money? Who cares? Just make money, and But I know you're a thoughtful guy. So, do you ever think about these things that maybe this whole thing is just, you know, a plan?
Yeah, I mean, obviously anything's possible, especially when it comes to the government, right? I mean, we know that historically the government does what it does, and everything's are conspiracy theories until they aren't anymore, right?
Yeah,
Um, and just with power, with the nature of power being what it is, I mean, it obviously wouldn't surprise me. But at the end of the day, I really just try not to do a whole lot of thought on it. I just try to make money while I can.
yeah, I know what you
Um,
mean. Yeah,
yeah,
you're
yeah,
better
because
off because
yeah, I
this
mean,
because
what are we gonna do? It's not like we're
well,
gonna stop it, right?
you could end up with like an ulcer, like
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Anyway, you're right to just ignore it. I wish I could, and I wish I could just bury my head in the sand, but I can't. It's the business I'm in. All right,
Yeah.
so S&P's 4,200, big area forever. You think it's going to be a breakout, or could we just have I know some people that are talking about 4,300 could terminate this rally. You disagree with that?
So my whole thing is I've told you before is this mid-August swing high, and that's across all charts. That was Bitcoin. That was the big level I think that I felt we needed to get through. The Dow's already been up through this level. And we're just waiting for the Nasdaq and the S&P to do it now. But here that's at 43.2750 area.
Yeah,
And for me, it looks like an ABC down, which would
yeah,
suggest that this is at least a wave 4 here.
yeah,
Again, which means we could pop up, but wave 4 can take so many different ways. We can have an ABC back up to the all-time high, 5 waves back down to the low, and then break out. Or we can build a triangle here.
yeah,
So this is, I mean, if this was a triangle, I mean, this it would just be A, we're working on B, we'd still have C, D, and E to go. I mean, this thing could go sideways for months. Um,
okay,
and I think, something like that, I think would be like a lot more painful, I think, for people, because everybody's been fighting it since the lows here, right?
yeah,
Everybody's been fighting the rally up, whether it's Bitcoin or whether it's stocks. It just seems like everybody's just been fighting it up there. Oh, we got to go in recession. We got to go in recession. They've been talking about it for a year and a half. And even if it comes true, the problem is we don't know when that's going to happen, right? I mean, we always talk about how the markets can stay rational longer than you can stay liquid. And so it becomes okay. So people sit here and they fight it and they fight it, and it's going up without them. And then it does this sideways thing. So then they start thinking, okay, well, it's going to come back down. So I'm not going to get interested. And then it goes up higher, and then they get scared again. And, and then they don't end up getting in until you're getting near that all-time high again. And usually that's where you get kicked back. So, I mean, I don't see this any different any other time that we pull back. People just, they tend to continue to be bearish until you're kind of getting up near that all-time high again, or you're getting to the breakout level, and then they go, okay, maybe. I mean, you have some traders, that are be trading this up, like myself, and I'm sure probably you and some others, but for the most part, retail in general just ends up being scared, and then they become paralyzed because they can't figure out that, they were promised it was going to go lower, and it hasn't gone lower yet.
yeah. Okay, valid. Possibility, a lot of possibilities. You have clarity in the metals here, Chris?
Let's see here. Whoops. Jump that back over. Yeah. So if we're looking at gold, remember I was bearish on gold, which actually served me well. We had a couple of great drops there, but the rally in here is what changed my mind. And so this has always been the alternate count. If we didn't get the breakdown, was the idea that we had a 3 and a 4 here. So based on the height of wave 4 here, we have a minimum wave 5 up there at 2380.
Yeah.
But we could see this overextending to 2780, even depending on that here. If I'm looking right here, we're probably getting close to a reversal to pull back down toward this weekly pivot at around 1843 or so.
Okay.
But that's all I would expect. And again, it's a high volume node right there as well. So,
Okay.
if we haven't topped out just yet here, it's probably just a little bit higher, and then we'll pull on back
So
there.
it'll pull back with the dollar turn. So it all kind of points towards the dollar completing and having a bear market rally that creates corrections and
Yes.
risk,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. I mean, we came close to that all-time high with gold here in the futures market the other day, last week, and
In
we came
Asia,
within
we took it
$4 of
out.
it.
In Asia, we took it out on my platform and showed a high of 2080.
Yeah, see, so we're
Yeah.
right there, and that opens it up, after it pulls back.
Okay.
And then silver, let me see here again, along lines with that, same thing with silver. It became constructive off these lows here, and so I kind of changed the idea of what I was looking at. And so, potentially looking at a 1-2 here. So 1 being back up here in February of 21, and then 2 ending down here in August of 22. And so again, either we're at it or getting pretty close to that, to this rally up off that low. And then again,
Yeah.
we'll pull back toward the weekly pivot right around $23,
Okay.
is what my expectation would be. And then to rally up
Then
higher there.
rocket.
Now,
Rocket. Yep.
yeah, if we do get rejected right here, instead of heading up a bit higher toward the R1 pivot on the weekly, which is right around 28.64, if we get rejected here instead, then it's possible we can head on down here to this wave 4, this low volume node area, and get popped up out of there right around $20.25.
Boy, I'd love that.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
great reload
yeah.
area.
It back up the truck there. Do you have any views or biases or technical picture that gives you, an edge in forecasting where yields are going? Because in TLT, I have this big like triangle that it looks like it could come out of either way. So I'm wondering what you're thinking about yields here is.
Yeah, let me pop off. I got a TLT chart here. Let me see what we got
Okay.
here. Yeah, man, this
Okay,
thing has just been
this whole
sideways.
thing. Yeah, this
Yeah.
whole thing, if you have a flat line over 109 and some type of uptrend from the lows, it's looks like an ascending triangle, but it's also on the verge of breaking down again. Or
Yeah.
you have I don't know.
Well, if I'm looking at this, I mean, it's got kind of this weird little count going here. So I've got this kind of as a 1 up here at the top and a
All
2
right.
completed, working up. But again, it continues to consolidate here.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Yeah, I think I like that better than a triangle, just because of the way it counts over here since March. So I kind of like the idea of a 1-2 better here, and then
Okay.
we've kind
Then
of
we're
got this
going
other
high.
1-2.
We're going to 116 or so.
Yeah, I mean that's
We
my
will
next target
break
up,
out.
but we need a breakout here. We got to get a breakout of this 109 area. Until that happens, again, it's just been going
Maybe that
sideways.
happens on risk off
Yeah, and,
after
and
the
that could,
dollar bottom.
that could align again, with everything with the dollar and whatnot, right? So,
Yeah.
if we check out the weekly, we're still below that weekly pivot there, and we're kind of just
Yeah.
messing around this high volume node, but we are catching wicks, so it does
Yeah.
look like there's a good chance we could pop on up there. And then
And
if
you
we
have
can
wave
break
4 above 120, so it could actually go there. Wave 4 of lesser degree. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. If we're, if we're looking, if we're doing that as an A down instead of a 1, yeah, I'm not sure honestly which one that is yet, but yeah, if
Yeah.
we're looking at that would be my first target, would be that 120 kind of area up there. And so what this could end up being is basically this could be a triangle, is maybe like a wave B. So you'd have an A
Yeah.
instead of a 1, wave B is a triangle, and then wave C heading up there to that wave 4. Or this is actually the larger wave 4 up here at 154.5, which would be crazy.
Okay.
Yep,
Because
so, yeah.
Elliott Wave International, whatever Proctor's group, is looking for a break to the downside to take out what you have labeled as 1.
Are
But
they?
a lot of people like to fade those guys. So
Yeah. And really, honestly, we're just sideways. I mean, we're sideways, since that November area, where we got that for Bitcoin, where we got that terminal shakeout kind of thing. And so, we really just need to see what's going on here. I'll be honest with you. When I look at this, if I'm looking at downside, what gives me the idea we might go to the downside is this volume that came out here this week of March 13th. You can see that we have this rally up to the top of this range here.
That must have been SVB news.
Yeah. We have this huge bit of volume coming in. And so when you're range bound, especially when you've already been range bound for months, the last thing you want to see is a huge spike of volume coming in at the top. So that is the one thing
that smacks of distribution. That smacks of distribution.
Yeah, because we've already up and down a few times, and we've been going, sideways for months, and now it's still doing it, and that's concerning. Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
But
you want to wrap it? You want to wrap it with WTI? That has shaken both bulls and bears out. It shook the bears out with the OPEC deal gapping up, and then it shook the bulls out by taking out the lows afterwards, and now we're reversing yet again.
Yeah, I mean, we have this bullish swing failure pattern down here last week, and I mean that even goes down, I believe, into the daily. Yeah, even into the daily. So I posted there, on Twitter. I was like, this looks like a great reversal potential happening here. We'll see how the day turns out, and then we've just had follow through. We've got a ton of room still on RSI and Stochh RSI to continue going up. Daily pivot sits up here right around 78, so I see no reason to at least get there. But this may be potentially a double bottom on here. So if we're breaking out above that swing high there at around 83.44, then the pattern target ends up being up here around 109.
Okay, and that's really contrary to what most people Ellioticians are saying.
Are
still looking.
And so this, again, we have to break out there to get that. Then we still have the weekly pivot there. So there are some things to watch along the way, but I think things get interesting if we do break out to that weekly pivot with a large candle spread, so a large candle body, large spike of volume. If we can do that and break out above the weekly pivot like that, then I think you really start looking seriously at maybe a new high coming in.
Christopher Inks, sharpshooter from Texas. Fade them at your own peril. That's what I say. So Chris, best way for people to follow your excellent work.
So we're all over social media, but I'm still trying to build that out. Really, you can get us, follow me at TX West Capital on Twitter, and then at Texas West Capital on YouTube. Two biggest ways to get us, or you can go to texaswestcapital.com as well.
Texas West Capital, being protected by the sheriff, Christopher Inks. Anyway, buddy, really appreciate your looks, and always thought-provoking for me, and at times, many times, you've helped reinforce a narrative that I've been looking at, gives me even more conviction. So thank you for sharing.
I appreciate it.
All right, everyone, follow Chris at Texas TX West Capital and check his work out. I look forward to talking to Chris every time. So I'll talk to you in about 3 months or so, bro.
Yeah, we'll see how this all happens, right?
Yeah, we will. It's amazing how these 3 month these cycles fly. It seems like a long time, and then all of a sudden here we are talking again. So,
That's right.
Anyway, good hunting. Have a great spring and beginning of summer trading season, Chris. Appreciate you being part of, help edifying our community here.
Well, it's always a good time being on here, Dale. Thank you so much.
All right, Christopher Inks, everybody. People are thanking you, buddy. And you could join the team in 18 minutes. See? Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Coach. Amazing. Nice. So and you could join the team in 18 minutes on the Morning Edge, everyone. See everyone for Turnaround Tuesday. Don't just count your pips, count your blessings. Adios.
Hey traders, this is Blake Morrow with ForexAnalytix. Thanks for stopping by our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like these videos, share them, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of the content that we provide here for free. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you in the next video.